I've always been drawn to classical artwork, ancient artwork that describes kind of a greatness of being human. And I think that's always inspired me to want to show how our potential and how we can inspire one another. And the human form is a great way of doing that.
Barbara Harnack and Michael Lancaster met at the Malden Bridge School of Art in the summer of 1975. For the following 5 years, they would expand the ceramics department at the summer school to include wood firing, raku, high fire, and pit firing. During this time, Harnack finished her education at Parsons School of Design, and Lancaster apprenticed at the Red Rock Pottery. During the 80s, the couple co-founded the Malden Bridge Arts Center, adding full-time galleries, performing arts, festivals, and major outdoor sculpture exhibits. They also co-founded the Malden Bridge Pottery, which was sought after by many art collectors throughout the United States. In 1987, they moved to New Mexico, later giving birth to their only child, Amrit. And eventually they established their home near Santa Fe. Nestled in the Ortiz Mountains, they would build Studio 98B, a 6,500 square foot compound which would fulfill a dream that began in 1975. To design, engineer, and hand build their own home and studio. This project would take nearly 14 years, and won them critical acclaim from such sources as the National Council on Green Building, Sukasa magazine, and American Style magazine. The fiery elements of the desert lent itself to their love of Raku, which enhanced Harnack's ancient-looking figurative images and Lancaster's industrial relic-inspired sculptures. The couple's art is exhibited widely throughout the United States, and from time to time they also show abroad. As they have always been adventurous, they currently plan to expand to both the southeastern U.S. and to Costa Rica, where they can teach and continue to share their love of clay and raku.
Well, first and foremost, Raku is actually a family name, a family of culture in the 1600s in Japan. And the Raku family lent their name to a man named Chojiro. Chojiro was a man who came from Korea, and during a time when Korea was under siege by China, he took a small boat and took a few hand tools and a little bit of clay and went to Japan, where he built a small oven or kiln, very tiny, low fire, and began firing small wares for tea ceremony and pulling them out of the kiln while they were red hot. So he started an art form which actually pretty much went to sleep within 100 years after his time, was rarely ever practiced. But this art form emerged again, or re-emerged, in the 1960s with a man named Paul Soldner, who I believe was in school in UCLA or somewhere in California in the master's program, and began experimenting with raku. Soldner developed what we now call American raku. But today, and especially within the past 10 or 15 years, other people have adapted raku to do many different things with it. My favorite part of all clay process before raku, I just need to say, is working in greenware. starting with nothing in the beginning of the day and a malleable lump of clay and ending up with a sculpture that I actually have thrown something on the potter's wheel and cut it up and put it back together, and it becomes a sculptural form.
Well, a lot of what motivates me with my work is, or the end result that I'm aiming for with my artwork is kind of a fine arts effect with painting and sculpting and drawing all at once. So the beauty of working with clay is I get this very primitive material that I can get sophisticated with.
The reason I'm doing it in Raku is because working with Barbara over these past years and working in Raku is I've just come to love the art form. I've come to love how much it can express clay and fire and the smoky color. It really expresses something that, as a ceramic artist, I want people to feel about clay. I have no problem with other people doing it, but if you make clay and it doesn't really express clay, it's not for me. My concept of clay is show people why it's clay. Show them what it's been through. Because it goes through phenomenal change. And I think that in many ways we kind of live and deal with fire. We paint with fire, we paint with the smoke, and hopefully we get to express that. If that's the way it is.